for a month or a few weeks and you want to work camp, please reach out to us. We can definitely use you. If you're sitting here, I could help out today during the 4th of July celebration. We can absolutely use you as well. So talk to Amy or Glenn about that. I know that we need additional people helping with security for parking and things like that. So lots of things to help with if you're interested. Also, a huge thank you to our volunteers that stepped up to help with R&R and the lodge breakfast. Lodge breakfast is running. It's going amazing. How's the food been? Really good? It's a lot of work. It really is. So thank you for that. And then a special thank you to Phyllis. So we had a windstorm come through and ripped our American flag. An 8-inch rip turned into, I believe it was a 24-inch rip by the time she got out there. But we lowered that flag and she hand-stitched that to ensure that Old Glory was going to be flying for today. So huge thank you to Phyllis. New flag will be here on Monday. And then board elections are coming up. Big thank you to the elections committee. So our annual meeting is October 25th, and the plan right now is to have ballots mailed out by September 5th. And this committee is working hard to kind of establish a baseline, our protocols going forward, because in the past we've relied on Abacus to count the votes, and that'll be done in-house this year. So huge thank you. That's a lot of work. James Stockwell, Kathleen Smith, Frank and Patricia Dodd, and Teresa Mustard all serve on that committee. So thank you for that. And I think those are all the board candidate packets. If you are interested in one of those board positions, you can reach out to me and come pick up a packet at my office. It's got all the information you need to run for the board. Just a reminder, you need 25 signatures to make it on the ballot, and they have to be valid signatures. One of the things we ran into a lot last year was husband and wife with one membership would both sign, and only one of those signatures would count toward the 25. So just a reminder, if you've already signed one, and don't have your significant other sign that same sheet for that person. So, and also I would encourage you to ask individuals running for the board what they plan to bring to the board. We've got 7 positions on our board. And it's extremely important that we've got some really good expertise and well-rounded members on our board to help guide the organization, because they are setting the tone for the future, the vision. So ask them questions, get to know what they bring to the table and what their plans are when they get on the board. So make sure they align with yours. Those are all the updates that I have, so we will open it up to questions. Great. It's been wonderful talking to you today. Yes, sir. That joke never gets old.
How many rental checkouts are you going to have Sunday, and can you use people help fold towels, etc.?
If you're interested in helping with housekeeping, there's certainly a need there. There'll be a lot of checkouts on Sunday for sure. Right now, we're at about 100% on our rentals. So. The main concern is not just the ones that are checking out, but the rooms that are checking out and then have somebody directly checking in after that. So we've got a pretty small window to make sure that those rooms get cleaned, and housekeeping has done an amazing job, even being short-staffed, to make sure we've met that goal. But yeah, if you're interested in helping to fold or clean rooms, again, see Glenn right over here, and he'll put you to work. So. Oh, we got some over here. I forgot you guys were over here.
Yeah, we're over in the corner. Got a question. My name's Butch Davidson. Been a member for about 12 years. And an issue that I've talked to a lot of people that seems to be a little bit of a nuisance, maybe a safety issue, I'm not sure. But for 43 years, the through road here, the main road going through, has always had the right of way. And then last year, I don't know who decided, somebody decided to put the stop sign there. It seems to me that when you're going down this hill with the big rigs coming in, it's a little bit of an issue for those folks to stop. Everybody going through to 3 and 4 have to stop going in and out. And if you're going into 2, you got to stop. And I've talked to several people that I know they can do it. But we were told or I was told that it was done to slow down the traffic. Well, it takes less than 3 seconds for a vehicle to get to 50 mile an hour. Less than 5 seconds to get to 20 mile an hour, which is speeding. And several people I've talked to just feel that the stop signs are really unnecessary. So I'd like to see if there was something that could be done or whatever about that. Those being removed or whatever.
You're trying to start a fight in here, aren't you?
Well, somebody needs to.
Yeah,
The crowd's too quiet, right? Not enough questions.
People that I talk to, so I hear both sides. I hear people that ask for those stop signs to be removed, and I hear people that say they want to keep them up. I thought you were going to say add 10 more stop signs. Yeah.
I've had a couple of issues this week already, that when I pulled up a stop going through, somebody was coming out of 2, didn't really know it was their turn, they were there long before me and they couldn't go. So it just kind of slowed things down, and then also I was there once, stopped, and I guess the guy from the laundromat thought he had the right of way, and as I took off, he pulled right out in front of me. So
Gotcha.
it just seems like definitely an approved road.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit like a safety issue.
It's something that definitely keeps coming up. And again, I'm hearing from both sides. People that want to keep them and people that want them removed. And my stance right now is they're already there. I'm never going to be closed off the idea of removing them completely. But I'd have to hear from a whole lot more members wanting them removed before I took action on that. So, but thank you for that.
Would be a roundabout.
You work for the city of Branson? No roundabouts. Oh my goodness. Talk about a safety issue. Yeah, we got another rig stuck on the roundabout. All right. Yeah, There'll be a Facebook post by the end of the day that says that we're planning a roundabout in 2026. So, just to make it clear, yeah, it'll be $4 million too. Yeah, and it'll be late. It won't happen until 2027. Yeah, it'll take several years. Yeah. Yeah, big TL in the middle. Yes, ma'am.
I know you're saying fishing and restocking will be in the fall. Do we know what type of package are we getting, all little or big stuff?
I can look it up real quick and tell you what the pack. I don't know it off the top of my head. It's like a sportsman package. Let's see if I can find it. I'll read it off real quick. If I can find my saved page. Sorry. Anybody want to sing while we're waiting? All right, so this may not be the exact package that we're going to get, but this is a good representation of the, I've got it right here.
You got it.
Yep. All right, the package that we're looking at would be 20 pounds of flathead minnows, 20 pounds of golden shiner minnows, 50 largemouth bass between 5 and 7 inches, 25 hybrid striped bass between 5 and 7 inches, 200 bluegill fish, 100 hybrid bluegill, 100 red ear sunfish, 30 channel cats between 6 and 8 inches, and 4 grass carps between 8 and 10 inches. So that's the package that we're currently looking at. Yeah, and it's called Angler's Choice Premier. And again, we may not go with this exact package, but that's kind of what we're looking at to compare different packages, pricing, and shipping. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
This is just my observation, but I've seen people blow through that radar at 25 and 30 mile an hour when it's telling them how fast they're going and they don't slow down a bit. So if the stop sign makes them slow down, keep the stop sign. Some people, they don't like the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, and they ain't gonna drive it unless security's there with the radar and gonna give them a ticket.
Appreciate that. Yeah, please adhere to that 15. We got a lot of kiddos riding bikes. I mean, it's dangerous. So please keep that speed low. The survivability of a person versus vehicle at 15 is much better than higher speeds. So,
Hey,
yes, sir.
I've been a member here since '98, and the acoustics in here when we joined was absolutely horrific. They've never improved.
In this building here?
Is there been any study or anything to do to improve them?
Not that I know of, but that's a great point. Amy can jot that down as well. I know it was brought up once in the past. I don't think it's met our priority list as of yet, but I mean, I would agree. We host a lot of music in here, and one of the worst, well, I take that back. We did talk about it a little bit in long-term planning. We talked about how this shape right here is not conducive, and if we were to basically invert these squares and extend, it would help that. But absolutely agree. We host a lot of music in here, and the acoustics should be better. So, yes, ma'am.
I had talked, the other day I was on the main road.
Hang on one second. Everybody won't be able to hear you.
The other day I was on the main road, and there were children under the age of probably 6 in front of me on bicycles and little tricycles. Should they not be on the walkway instead of out in the road? It seems a little dangerous if they fall over or...
Yeah, so the walking path is supposed to just be for walkers. Hopefully they had a parent or guardian out there with them, right? No? Well, just a reminder, please make sure that if you've got a little one, that you're with them. Treasure Lake is a safe place, but accidents happen, so absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So they can ride in.
Yeah. Oh, over here. I keep forgetting there's people on the right of me this time. Yes, sir.
So last week you mentioned that they're doing some measuring of the sites and going to have measurements available. I don't know that where you're going with that, but don't put it on the gals in the office or the people in the office checking you in. The scenario that's going to happen is, well, is this site 27 feet or is it 32 feet? And they're going to play that for the other 10 customers that are waiting. We've talked before about, the congestion checking in. I wouldn't add anything else to what they're checking in with. Having that available is great. I don't know how to post it. I don't, how do you give it to the people?
Gotcha. Yeah, so the measuring of sites is for multiple reasons. One, our staff in the office should be able to pull up and accurately know, hey, this site is going to be this length, this wide, it's going to be 50 amp. And right now our computer system, the only thing that it has in it is whether it's 30 or 50, and half the time it's wrong because they've been updated but not updated in the system. Our goal with a new software, what I would like to see, and we haven't selected that software yet, but what we would like to see is owners being able to pull up a map with all the measurements on any site. Certainly would be available also for the front desk if somebody had a question, but it wouldn't be part of the check-in process with every single person to touch on that. But that would be our goal. And then that helps us in future planning too. We know exactly how many sites we have, what's the ideal pad size, how many of those do we have, are they used more than other sites? It would really allow us to dig into some analytical data that would show us what people really want and what they use. So huge shout out to the long-term planning committee as well, because they've been the ones out measuring sites, and they're not just measuring the length. Like I said, they're taking detailed notes on every single site. And that's going to help us decide which ones to upgrade as well in the future. So huge thank you for that. It's a lot of work. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Pam. This is our first time here. We're thoroughly enjoying it, but I wanted to compliment the front desk staff. When we checked in, it was last Monday, and the park was relatively full, but they took the time to tell us what was available in each phase. And so that at least helped us start
Yeah.
to find a spot, and that was very helpful. But of course, by the time we got to those spots, they were gone. But it was very helpful to have a starting place, and I appreciate that.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you. It's been a challenge. I mean, the park is filled. I mean, it is full. So we've made every effort, especially in the last few days, to keep a very updated. There's a lag time. Just the nature of our system, when a site gets chosen or taken in a pink tag, there's time for that to get into the system. It takes sometimes multiple hours. So we've had staff actually driving around constantly, updating that list so that when somebody pulls in, we can tell them, hey, this is what we have available, and they can pick a site and we can take them directly there. So they're not driving around for hours. So, but it's definitely a challenge. It's been. I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. A couple days ago, I'm like, how are we going to, what's going to happen? And we had just enough checkouts with check-ins, and thankfully staff, working with people to get them in a proper site, that we haven't had to turn anybody away. And we've been at, there are times when we've been at 100% in phase 1, 2, and 3, and that is accurate. I mean, that is boots on the ground, looking at those sites, knowing for a fact that they are filled. And I've heard multiple people have come up to me and said, we've seen the park full, but it's been a really long time since it's been this full. And I'm just proud of our staff, our towing crew, because we've got people that leave and check out. Our towing crew stayed late, multiple nights to make sure that if a trailer was sitting on a spot that needed to be towed out, that thing got towed out of there and made that site available for a new owner coming on that needed a spot. So all the staff, amazing job at making all that work together, so we didn't have to turn anybody away and everybody was able to find a site. So yeah, 99% full. It's a wonderful number to see. Nerve-wracking, but wonderful. Yes, sir.
Hi. Hi, my name is Brian. I've been a member here for about 20 years now. And over the past few years, there has been, talk about the park having issues with money and find ways that we can make money and keep everything the way it is. There was a rule set that's got a lot of concern with me and my family that come here and camp. The 5-day or vacancy rule where you can leave your camper on site for 5 days. Now, I know the park needs money, but I think that rule needs to be adjusted to where it cannot be applied during the busy holiday seasons. I came here last Friday, after hours Friday, I checked in along with 28 other people according to the office, and there was like 5 spots available in the entire park. And the camper spot that I was able to fit my 40-foot camper in was only really designed for a 30-foot. So, in my opinion, there was a lot of campers we saw driving around. We saw that were vacant and empty, just sitting there. And they've been there, we checked all week. Is there going to be a rule or adjustment that we could do that during the busy holiday seasons? Now, like I said, I know the park needs money, but during the busy seasons like this, when it's always at 100% capacity, can we not use that rule during this week so other people can enjoy the camping experience while they're here at the park, not just having a spot? Because growing up, coming here, this has always been a first come, first serve establishment. Now it just seems like you can come in here, park your camper in a spot for the 21 days. You could be gone for 5 of those days, come back on the weekends, this and that. You take away a pleasurable, good camping experience from people who don't have the ability to drive 4.5 hours plus to come here, park our campers, leave, and come back. Is there going to be a rule change to that, to not be able to use that on a busy holiday week? That's my question.
Yeah, so The rules, thank you for the feedback, first off. The rules are set by the board with input from the staff. Operationally, the 5-day rule worked amazing for towing. I understand the concerns. I'm hearing that from some people. I'm also hearing from other people that say, we love the 5-day rule. It's going to allow younger families to come in. I think it only really becomes a problem during these peak season times. So, again,
You already answered that.
Holidays, we'll get full capacity, like this week. That's what I was referring to. Can this rule not apply during busy season week?
yeah, and what I'm telling you is that's not a rule that I make. So the feedback is great, and we've got several board members here that are listening and watching online as well. But there's also been a ton of feedback saying that that's a rule that people wanted and are enjoying. So that's kind of where I stand on that currently.
You already answered that when you said that nobody's been turned away.
Yeah, and that is true. Yeah, nobody's been turned away. And I think, again, taking everything into account, it's a complicated situation as with most rule changes. It's going to affect a lot more than, one aspect or what you're trying to change. Everything's kind of connected. So, but I hear your feedback. I'm not invalidating that at all. I'm just saying that that's a decision above my decision-making level.
So how would you monitor that? I mean, somebody had to be checking. Okay, they've been there 2 days, they've been there. That would be hard to monitor.
Are you saying that a Treasure Lake member would fib? It's a tough one to monitor. In a perfect world, they let the front desk know. We have a list of people and security checks that. Is it possible that somebody can, go around that system? Absolutely. I would hope that nobody would do that, and security is checking on that, and if they see it, we're taking appropriate action. But yes, sir.
Well, I've been a member about 20 years also, and I'm completely on the other end of the spectrum on that. The thing about it is, on the 4th of July, and I've seen it all these years, all the good spots would have been gone already. It wouldn't have mattered whether it was a 3-day, 2-day, 1-day, 10-day, those good spots would have been gone. Now, I understand somebody that lives 4 or 5 hours away. I understand that. But I have used that rule some this year. I've never used it in the past. I've spent more money using that rule that the Treasure Lake would not have had, and Treasure Lake needs the money and our donations and everything we can do right now. I completely understand. I have came with my kids and drove into here, and there was no spots open but over here at the overflow. That was it. And we spent the 4th of July at overflow, and that happens, though, when you're not able to come in and secure a spot early. I get that, but the 4th of July definitely is the worst time for it. But as far as I'm concerned, what the board did on the 5-day rule is one of the better decisions ever made.
Thank you for that feedback. I'm coming. Yes, ma'am.
So is there anywhere that, a couple things on long term, is there anywhere that you can go on, like a website or somewhere where you can find like the things that the long-term committee are talking about and looking at? And then also, if so, or if, well, not if so, but is there anything on the long-term committee about maybe making a small bike path on the road? I know it's probably a lot of money and probably a very long term, but is there anything out there on that side?
So is anything available right now? No, because they're still building that plan. We sent out a lot of surveys. There's a possibility that another survey might be coming to kind of get feedback from owners. The long-term planning committee the 2 subcommittees will meet and start looking at those ideas and bring to the board, hey, these are the things we're looking at in 3, 5, and 10 years. Get the board's input on that as well, and then a plan will be created. And once the plan is created, that'll absolutely be published for owners to see. So, yes, sir.
I think a dog park's been brought up before, and they said something about fencing can't put up any new fencing, but I know we use temporary fencing all over the park. A great number of campers bring their dogs, and it would be highly beneficial to a number of people if we had some type of dog park where they could go run during the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely got some feedback about that. It's something that comes up quite often, and it's something that's on the long-term planning committee's list of things that have been brought up by owners. So thank you for that. Yes, ma'am.
We can't get owners now to pick up after their dogs when they walk them. It would be a horrible mess for a dog park.
Opposing view on the dog park. We're going to set up 2 podiums. And every time an issue like this comes up, I'm going to just have 2 people go at it. It's tough because, I mean, there's valid concerns on both sides of the majority of arguments or ideas that we have, both for and against. So the board and the leadership team have a really tough job because we're never going to make everybody happy with any decision. And the only thing we can do is make sure we're putting the park first, and we're trying to think what's best for Treasure Lake owners. And I can guarantee you that everybody on our board and staff keep that front of mind when we're making those decisions. So.
Are they still putting out like dog bags in the area? It seems like
They weren't for a long time. I guess it was decided that we weren't going to stock those. Glenn actually restocked those. So if you see one empty, let us know. They should be stocked going forward. Yep.
Seen them out this morning.
You saw them out this morning? Yep. Good. All right. Yes, sir.
Can you explain how the tent reservation site works? Because what I have observed is there's tents that are set in the RV spaces, and I'm thinking, from what I've noticed, there's not a single tent over in where the tent sites are.
We did have one tent for a little while. They didn't stay very long in the tent area. Yeah, so the take on this, it kind of goes back to that if you've got a 20-foot RV and you parked in a 40-foot spot, how dare you? And then the other side of that argument is, I'm an owner just as much as you are, and I can pick any side I want and put anything I want on it. So those are the 2 opposing views, right? We have had several people pop tents up. Some of them are on extremely large concrete sites. But again, being first come, first serve, they got here and secured that site. And I don't believe any tents are taking advantage of the 5-day rule that I'm aware of. So they got here and secured a spot and have been here. So, yes, sir.
That's assuming the tents that are on an RV site have an A membership and not a C membership.
There shouldn't be any more C memberships.
But there are some out. Still some B's and C's out there, are there not? But the people who are on an RV site with a tent have to have an A membership to do so.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And they're paying the exact same price as if you pulled an RV in there. I mean, they're paying for that site just like you would. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Is the $12 a night paying? Does it equal out to the rigs that are coming in and staying those 5 days with their air conditioners running? Does that $12 compensate for that?
How big's your rig? I'm just kidding. So we've done some looking at what the utility cost is, and I'm confident that the $12 covers, I would say, 98% of somebody. Now, if you come in with a 43-foot and you wash your tanks twice a day, and it all depends on the person. You're doing tons of laundry and you got a full family in there, it'd get a lot closer to that $12 a day. But I don't think it's an issue, especially when somebody leaves. They usually set their AC a little bit lower, or I'm sorry, a little bit higher, and they're using less energy than if they were there on the site. So.
I would hope they would do that. I would hope everybody.
Yes, sir.
And in reality, it doesn't matter.
My name is Rob Collier, and we've been owners for 42 years. Can anyone beat that? You can, 43, okay. All right. I just have one question. Is there any prioritizing as far as tow outs, the order, as to when you call in or whatever?
So normal operations, no, because, and this is why I say that, we would tow a lot less if we made a list and we had to tow somebody from or from storage to 1 and then pick somebody up in 4. And so towing does a really good job at saying what's in this area. If I'm going to drop, can I pick something up and take it back? And then going back and forth. So it doesn't always happen down a list. Now, what we have done in non-busy times is try to stay ahead of that. So if you are going to be camping the next day and we're going to be really busy on tow outs, we don't want to turn you away and say we can't tow you out or to a site. So we would tow that evening, toward the end of the day before. So
there's no
does that answer your
advantage to
question?
calling ahead, 2 weeks ahead instead of the day before?
I wouldn't say there wouldn't be any advantage to it, especially during a busier time. It allows us to plan a little bit better and know what's going to be on the tow list. But advantage for the owner, I don't think that there would be. No.
Should there be?
Should there be? Last 4th of July, it was insane the amount of towing that happened in like 1 or 2 days. This year it was spread out because of that 5-day rule, I'm guessing, and it was much more manageable. Our towing team only spent 2 days after hours towing, when normally it would be they were here until 9 o'clock at night. As long as there was daylight to tow, they were towing. And that was not the case this year. So should there be an advantage of somebody coming in? I think organizational efficiency would dictate, as long as we can get all the tows in when they're supposed to be towed out, then if we're meeting that goal, I think that's the goal we need to meet. So you may have to wait a little bit longer if you were towed out for that day and you show up at 1 and it may not be done yet and it gets done at 3, but we're doing it in an efficient way to make sure that we're using the organizational resources in a good way.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
What is the status of the rock and roll?
It's open.
It's open?
It's open. It'll be open today, 5 to 8. Burgers, fries, hot dogs, and sweet treats. So again, huge thank you to those volunteers that stepped up. Yeah, absolutely. A little touch and go for a little bit, but I think we're good for the rest of the year. That's the goal. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yes.
Continue with the guys towing. We've been utilizing storage for 3 years, and not one time have we ever not got accommodated on our requests. They do their best and an excellent job at getting you what you're requesting to the best of their ability. We came in one time and it wasn't set up. They got on the phone, they picked out our site, we went to the office, within 5 minutes they were pulling our camper out and setting it up.
Yeah.
There was no wait.
Yeah. Towing does an amazing job. They really do. Woo!
I'd like to add that all the staff does an amazing job.
Absolutely. All the staff. 100%.
As full as we are, I haven't seen, now, I'm on a camping so I don't see it, but I haven't seen a lot of maintenance issues. As full as we are, the infrastructure is under high stress right now. And no more maintenance issues that I'm seeing or hearing about. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that speaks a lot for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you see Ryan, tell him thank you. Because beyond the daily maintenance stuff that happens, we had some goals that we wanted him to meet. We're not going to meet all of them, but boy, they tried really hard. So you'll see some area beautification down there by the pavilion. That was all done within the last two weeks. Just to make sure that area looked great for 4th of July. So they work extremely hard. Ryan is one of those individuals that gets a lot of after hours calls, him and his team. So, and he does a great job at making sure that people get taken care of. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
And I have to apologize if I speak the lady's name wrong. I think her name is Tracy in the front office that manages the Veterans Wall out front. Starts with a T.
Tammy.
Tammy, that's it, bam, right. Good job, Steve. You know your stuff. So anyhow, I reached out to Tammy, my wife did actually, on behalf of me, to find out what we're doing for the next Veterans Wall. And as I understand it, that we need some more names to people to sign up to get that next Veterans Wall set up and going, which we put our names on it, and my kids and my brother and sister, my brother and my sister's son. But anyhow, if there's anybody that wants to get that next veteran wall going and you have veterans that you want to get put on it, get with Tammy and let's get that next piece going. That'd be great to see.
Absolutely. There might be some changes to the stone. I'm a little bit OCD, and I really want one more of the really large stones before we go to a smaller stone. But the organization that we were using before can't source that stone anymore. So there will be smaller stones, and we're still looking at how they're going to be placed, like maybe in between, and that's not my expertise. But
I think she said we needed 90 names on it to get
gotcha.
that stone.
Yeah. Absolutely. Talk to Tammy. Come on in, boys. They're like, no. Yes, ma'am.
People that come and want to stay 21 days, but they don't want to pay the buybacks and stay the other days, they leave. Are they required to stay gone 9 days? They're absolutely, okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yep. Yes, sir.
Quick comment. The building looks a lot better around where they repaired the eaves and painted and everything. Are we finished with all the painting and roof work on these buildings?
Roof work, yes, on this building, the Welcome Center and the pool house, not painting.
Okay. But this out here looks a lot better where that they fixed that. That
Yeah.
looked terrible for years. And this area here really needs to stay, really needs to look good. Whenever you bring new people in, this is the first thing they see. And that's
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, by the way, if you would like to volunteer to paint, Ryan would really appreciate it. Yeah, talk to Glenn and he can get you Ryan's information. We'll get you. We had a family come out actually and purchase a sprayer for us, and they sprayed a good portion of the Welcome Center, and then when they left, they donated the sprayer to us. So we even have a sprayer now. It's quick work. He said I better call it. There's always a wave of questions that come in right at the end, so. Yes, sir.
Is there any way that the electric, to do away with the 30 amp, it all go, every space had a 50 amp because it would help a lot. Because 90% of the campers have got the adapter.
Yeah, I mean, long term, I would love if, I mean, it was, like I said, this week has been kind of scary because we were down to 30 amps, and that's all that we had. And I know that's tough for somebody that, has multiple air conditioners and, needs that 50 amp. And I know long-term planning has discussed site upgrades being extremely high on the priority list. And that's our main function as an RV resort. We need to be able to support the RVs that come in. So that is top on the list. So. Yes, ma'am.
You might announce that the grill closes at 7:30.
Yes. Very important note. The grill closes at 7:30. So 5 to 7:30, the grill is open. And then sweet treats are still available until 8. So, yes, ma'am. You don't have to stand up.
I'm Renee Hudson. I've been a member here for years because of my family. But I just want to say a thank you to the beautiful planning that they've done. The plans and everything around here are just gorgeous on the wagons and everything. They've done a great job on the decorating with the planning, the plans.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a lot of work that Naomi and Jim do that's unseen as well. They actually have a greenhouse. So one of the things that they said was, we don't want to go out and buy plants every year. We need to be able to keep them going in a greenhouse. So there's stuff that's going on kind of behind the scenes to make sure that the area stays awesome looking. So, and Jim and Naomi do a great job at that. Those are the two that spend the most time on our flower beds, plan it out and actually make it happen, and then take care of them as well. So if you see Jim or Naomi, give them a shout.
Say, did you get a good response from all the members that pay extra this year?
Yeah, so not as good as a response as we were hoping. We haven't met our goal. Let me pull up. Oh, sorry. He was asking how our campaign is going, our fundraising campaign. Let me pull up the latest number here. So we're at $70,960 of our $127,000 goal. So I mean, good response from some. We're not there yet. So, you got a checkbook? I can do the math and tell you what we're short.
I like stop there.
Yeah.
I already played.
Yeah. And just a reminder that money we already spent, right? So we've already done the roofs. We're doing the painting. We did the pond. There's still some work to be done on the pond, but we've already invested that money in those projects. So these funds are replenishing so that we are able to continue doing projects like that in the future. So, and it is restricted for those projects.
I just want to know what the long-term plan is for more cement slabs for the units, and also planing them so they're more level than a lot of these that do not have the cement slab, where you're not a foot off the ground.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So the key there is long-term plan. We decided that it'd be best to have a member-run committee that decides where, or at least provides information to the board of where they think money should go. And one of the top areas, like we said, was site improvements, and that includes new concrete pads. What sites? And we're thinking, there's obviously repairs we're doing this year and next year, but there's a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year component of that plan that's going to get us, 50 amp, larger sites, concrete, pull through. All that member information that was given to us through the surveys are being considered in that long-term planning committee. That way it's not just me and my team saying these are the sites that we're going to do. We want to hear from the owners as well. What do you guys want to see? That information is then going to be presented to the board, and then the board takes a look at that and says, what is financially feasible for the organization? Can we hit everything in the 3, 5, and 10 year? And then if not, look at what needs to be off that list. Once that's solidified, it goes into a plan, and then we revisit that plan every single year. It's an evolving, moving, living document that will change based on the park's needs. So, but I know that sites were top of the list on things that needed improvement. So. You're going to make him leave again. He's about to leave.
2-question minimum. So can you talk about, for people, because we don't, I don't know if this is anyone else, don't really understand where you go if you do want to volunteer, to try to plan that maybe in your visit, or maybe one day you do some volunteering. And then also these committees that are being formed, how you possibly can be a part of those committees. So that's just something that would be helpful.
You want me to put you to work?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay. All right.
Asking for a friend.
So if you asking for a friend, yeah. If you want to be on a committee, I typically announce the committees and then tell you who to contact and give information. We also make announcements online for volunteers. We've got this great new thing we're trying out for volunteers, because communicating with volunteers can be really tough, especially if it's just like, hey, I want to volunteer anywhere. Well, we don't want to blow people up with communication constantly. So Amy has actually got an app that she can put you in a team. So like if you say, hey, I want to volunteer and I'm really good at maintenance, or I want to volunteer but I want to do something in this area, she can put you in that group, and then you'll only get kind of text messages from that area of expertise. Eventually we would like it to be only when you're on the park. So it'd be like an all call. Hey, we need help tonight in the Rock and Roll Cafe. You know, somebody had to leave sick. And then somebody would be able to volunteer. Or, hey, we've got a maintenance project coming up. We're going to be doing, you know, X, Y, Z. Tools will be provided. We're meeting at this time, at this place to do this project. And that's been evolving. Our volunteer program has lacked considerably in the past, and we're really trying to figure out the best way to communicate with owners, provide them opportunities to serve and all the tools they need to serve. My goal would be, like when we have our volunteer days, you know, we have a group show up and they're provided everything they need to support the organization, and then they get to go home feeling really good about the service that they provided. Quick note on that, Sunday is also a time where we're going to need some volunteer help. We'll be providing a grab-and-go breakfast at what time? 9:30 a.m. and then we're slated to start cleanup at 10. And we're basically just going to walk this front area here and do a pickup of any trash that might be laying around. So.
That'd be another way to help the park. Pick up after yourself.
Yeah, that's the best volunteer right there. You're also always, I had somebody come up to me and say, hey, is it all right if I like weed eat my site? Is that allowed? Absolutely. If you don't have a weed eater or a rake and you need it, you know, call the front desk. We can get a hold of security and we'll bring you a rake, because that's a great way to support Treasure Lake, is just take care of your site while you're on it and make it better for the next person. That certainly saves us time and energy as well. Yes, sir.
Thank you. On that note of cleaning up after yourself, is there a possibility that there would be some cleaning stuff in the restrooms when you finish with the toilet? We pick after our dogs, but we leave a mess in the toilet sometimes. So cleaning up after that, is there a possibility to have some cleaning stuff in there? And encourage people to use it after they use the facility. And I want to say thank you to the staff that's already doing it. They do a great job, but when it's this full, it's huge.
Yeah.
It needs to be taken care of.
So somebody brought this up last week, and the only concern that I have about leaving cleaning chemicals in the bathroom is kids unattended in the bathroom. But you know, here's what I really need. If you see a mess, say something. Give us a heads up. Our housekeeping team, we need to start providing counseling services for them. Listen. They go into war zones sometimes. It is rough. So if you see it, say something. I mean, I've had somebody say, hey, bathhouse, this is an absolute wreck. And we're like, they were just down there. And they'll go down there and it's a wreck. And so like they had just cleaned it, walked away. Within an hour, somebody, you know, made a mess. And now people walk in and they go, man, housekeeping, they don't even clean this toilet. And, well, no, they did. They just did. And it was disrespected and not cleaned up. So if you see that, say something and we'll go out and clean it. But just know that they're trying to hit bathhouses multiple times a day to ensure that they've got toilet paper and hand soap, and that if there's a mess, it's cleaned up. But certainly clean up after yourself, and if you see something, say something so we can get out there and get it fixed sooner rather than later. Yes, sir.
You know, this is a great park. Everybody works hard, you're doing a good job, all the staff, everybody's working hard. I don't understand somebody that won't send this park $19 to help pay for stuff for the park. Do you have a reason for it?
I don't. Do you want the mic any longer?
Well, I mean, that's sad. That's very sad. Somebody, if you can't spend $19, you don't even need to come to this park.
Well, I appreciate it. I know in the past, hearing from owners, The concern was, what if the money isn't spent the way we say it's going to be spent? And that comes down to trust in the board and trust in the leadership of the organization. And that money is being set aside. I mean, it's being restricted, and it'll only be spent on capital improvement projects. So if that is the reason that you're hesitating to give, know that that is not a fear that you should have. So, yes, ma'am.
This may be an accounting nightmare, but all the places I go at retail sales places outside of the park, a lot of times we'll say, would you round up to the nearest dollar for whatever? If we could do that with our checks and our purchases, just to go to capital improvements, would it make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not an accounting nightmare, especially when it has to do with cash, because we've got those donation boxes. So you can just, when you get your change, put it in there. You can always also just say, I'd like to make a donation, and they will put in the amount, and it'll be part of that transaction. And if you're writing a check, just add a couple zeros, and we'll put it to good use. We have 5 minutes. Yes, sir.
This is more of an announcement. Winter Texans from Treasure Lake. If you are a Winter Texan, you know we have a reunion every year. We had announced last year that Deb and I was going to quit. We've changed our mind. We will host a Winter Texan reunion the first Wednesday of February. That'll be February 4th, I believe. And it will be at the same place at Mr. Getty's on 2nd Street, McAllen. If you're staying the winter down there, or you just happen to be in the McAllen area on February 4th, please come by, enjoy. We just sit around, visit, enjoy each other's company, and we'd love to have you join us. Last year we had 55 people, I think, join us. I do know there's more than that in the Winter Texan area, because I have people come to me afterwards and say, well, I didn't know you did that. We'll have it in the Winter Texan. We'll have it on our Facebook pages here, and we'll put the word out as much as we can. But we would love to have you join us in February 4th.
All right, thank you. Going once. Going twice.
Everybody have a good 4th.
Have a wonderful 4th. Thank you all. Hang on, I got a 1 second.
Update about people coming through the gate before 5 to help us.
Oh yes, I totally forgot that. Yeah, just a reminder, 5 o'clock, we're going to be moving gate operations further down the road. So if there's any traffic coming in that's just the public, they can be turned around without congesting our gate. So if you've got a guest coming in after 5, you have to go down there and meet them. So just a reminder on that, 5 o'clock, you'll have to meet your guest down the road right there next to the antique area. So thank you all.